Everyone would prefer lower interest rates on their mortgages, but the Bank of England base rate has a big say in this. So when will the Bank of England cut the base rate from 5.25%? Well, let's find out. You might be surprised by some of these predictions, but we'll have a quick summary at the end, so stick around for that. First up is the economic research firm Capital Economics. According to them, they predict that the current bank rate of 5.25% will stay in place until late 2024, and that the bank rate will be at 3% by the end of 2025. Specifically, this chart says that they predict the bank rate to be 4.75% by the end of Q4 2024, but still at 5.25% by the end of Q3 2024. So the first rate cut wouldn't come until October at the earliest. Next up is the investment bank Morgan Stanley. Now they've got something different to say. They've recently predicted that the UK will enter a recession, and this probably explains why their bank rate prediction is quite different to Capital Economics. Morgan Stanley predicts that the base rate will be cut in May and that it will be 4.25% by the end of 2024. This puts their end of year prediction 0.5% below Capital Economics. Now the next predictions come from the investment bank Goldman Sachs, and one of their predictions is even earlier than the ones we've mentioned already. First of all, they say that there's a 30% chance that the rate is cut in August to 5%, and that at the end of the year it will be 4.75%. They say that this is their most likely outcome. But there's another prediction that they've also mentioned, which could mean rates being cut a lot earlier. They place a 15% chance on the Bank of England cutting rates as early as February or March 2024. Under this scenario, they also expect the base rate to end 2024 at 3.5%. So that's two investment banks and a research firm. But what does the market say, and does the Bank of England agree? Well, at the start of November, financial markets were pricing in a first rate cut in August 2024, the same as Goldman Sachs. And in response to this, the chief economist at the Bank of England, Hugh Pill, said that this was not totally unreasonable. Although, more recently, he's reiterated that they can't afford to ease off on tight monetary policy, even if the economy shows weakening activity. So these two statements are somewhat contradictory in tone, although it's probably because his boss, the governor of the Bank of England, gave him a telling off. But what does the governor, Andrew Bailey, have to say? Well, he's repeatedly said that it's too early to talk about cuts. Specifically, earlier this month, he said, "Let me be very clear, it is far too early to be thinking about rate cuts." So no clues from him then. Megan Green, one of the other members of the Monetary Policy Committee, has also echoed this view, although it's worth pointing out that she was one of the 3 members who actually voted for a rate rise at the last meeting on the 2nd of November. So what is going to happen? Well, truthfully, nobody fully knows, and a similar shock like the Russia-Ukraine war could throw everything out of whack and send inflation soaring again. But the best estimates seem to suggest that the earliest possible rate cut could be in February or March if the economy performs weakly, and the latest possible rate cut is probably around October or November of 2024, with the likely scenario being around August time. But like with any prediction, these are all based on the data currently at hand, and new data can easily change these predictions. If you want to stay up to date with the changes that affect the property market, then make sure to join the Weekly Beacon property newsletter. It's completely free to join for now, and you can find the link in the description.